mistakes, but I changed my ways. Why won't you believe me, baby? I would travel the world just to see your face and tell you how much that you mean to me. I gave up everything along the way, and I did it for you, for you, for you. I'd do anything if only for you. Well, I'm sorry that I said something.
Alright, welcome back everybody to another episode of FF14 Venues Podcast. Alright, today we're joined with Alice and Irene from both Rumors and Blood Moon. Really great venues if you haven't went around and check them out yet. We'll also be having Aurora, but she's currently having some technical difficulties. She'll be here momentarily. And I hope you all have been looking forward to today's episode where we will be going over greeters in the venue scene. So, if you all would like to introduce yourselves, also thank you for the follow.
You go first.
Okay, yeah. I'm Irene. I greet and help manage Rumors and all the venues under their umbrella. And I've been playing for about a year.
I'm Alice, and I greet at several venues. I've been greeting for several years, and I've been playing for several years. I'm just a greeter from Blood Moon, but I do help with their advertisements um, in like shout chat and PF stuff, and just whenever the owner needs anything.
And whenever Aurora gets back, we'll just let her introduce herself as well. But as for now, I guess we'll go ahead and start jumping into some questions if you two are ready to be questioned and interviewed.
Sure.
Yeah.
Alright, first question of the day. As a greeter, how long have you been doing it, and do you enjoy the work?
Yeah. So I've been greeting for Rumors for uh, probably just under 4 months now, I think. We started back in November of 24, so we're really new. As far as enjoying it, I do. Like, absolutely. There's a lot really rewarding about it, and kind of setting the mood for when someone comes in and what to expect at the venue I'm working, whether it's Rumors or another. And I just think that that kind of welcome can make a difference, whether they're new or if they're a familiar face.
Yeah. I have been like I said, I've been greeting for a few years now. I actually prefer greeting to anything else. I really enjoy it. I'm kind of like an introvert, so it kind of gives me the ability to be in the crowd, but not in the crowd. So I get to kind of like watch the say chat and sort of just chill with everybody, but I don't have to like push myself to interact with people. Oh, there's somebody. Yay.
Aurora came back.
Holy fucking shit.
Welcome back.
Thank you. My school internet has been like this for I don't know how long. Might send in a complaint. I don't understand.
Yes, file a complaint. Let them know.
Strongly worded email.
Yeah, strongly worded.
Because I can't even do schoolwork on my computer nor my MacBook here. It's awful.
All the schoolwork. Oh yeah, also, Rory, you can introduce yourself as well whenever you're ready.
Oh, we're live now. Oh, my bad, guys. I didn't mean to be strongly worded there. But um, I'm Aurora. I run the library and cafe venue on sometimes Ether and sometimes Dynamis. And I'm happy to be here again, Volume 3.
Volume 3 of 172.
My goodness.
Probably not that many, but you know. Also, as a clarifier for any of those that are watching that are, you know, from the older scene, Rumors Inc. is a new venue. Alright, it is not to be confused with the old one. They're a completely separate and new thing that started up last year, right?
Yeah, in November.
Yeah, November last year.
Yeah, we had never even heard of that venue actually, and I don't think any of us were even playing the game yet when the old one was around. So
Yeah, so at least that addresses that, so nobody asks any questions later about it. And also, Aurora, you missed the first question, unfortunately.
No! Okay,
But but
it's fine.
but you can ask the next question if you want, though.
Okay, if I could get back on this tub. Okay,
At least this time you didn't clip through it.
I know. So, wait, we're asking this second question now. I'm sorry. I feel like I missed a lot during that internet problem.
Oh, yep. Mobile actually makes a great point. The spelling for rumors is different from the other one. Good observation there.
I can't believe I didn't have you followed.
Well, if
Thought I did.
that's the case on if we have the first question already answered, then I guess we can get started on the second one, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, for you greeters here, even though it's just two of you, but still, it's important to know from your current venue position, what are the ins and outs and day to day work like when greeting people for your venues?
Oh, you can go first this time.
Okay. Okay, so there's a lot of things that can go on. I I I do apologize that if I say things that Irene over here would also say too, so I don't mean to steal thoughts. But basically, it goes based on the venue. Like I said, I work for like um, four other venues where I greet at, and then I do other things at other venues. So I work at six right now. So some places it's just like a copy and paste sort of thing where they already do it all for you. You just have to copy the macro into your macros. Others, you always have to do like minor updates throughout the night. So whichever DJ is playing on Twitch, whatever information needs to be given. Um, some places just like they want you to make the entire thing from scratch, which I'm fine with doing either way. I'm obviously comfortable with it. Others will have you put up PFs. Others will only just want you to be present at the door and just be happy and be the first face that people see when they walk in. I think it's a lot of like remembering which tags are for what, giving people directions because people are always going to be the one to ask you first because you're the one who greets them. So they're like, oh, well, this person's already in my tells, so I'll just like message them a question. Then I'm always having to go into the crossword link shell being like, somebody needs assistance downstairs. um, it can be like a little bit hectic at times, but uh, I kind of like it. It uh, yeah, it's just basically whatever the venues want. I try to make the it as easy and as seamless so that they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, 100%. And for us, I will speak mostly about day to day with rumors. That's where I spend most of my time for greeting anyway. But it is like she said, kind of across the board. largely the same. So I stand kind of near the entrance with a co-greeter of mine, Jensen, and we make sure when everyone kind of comes in, they get our own spin of what it's like to come in and be properly greeted by roomers, and roomers as a whole. We do have a lot of regulars, so when they come in, we don't often have to do that rinse and repeat macro greeting. They come often enough. We know about it. It's nice to see them again, sort of things, and it's inside jokes that we've had with them and all of that. But then also for newcomers or people who come a lot more infrequently, still focusing on them and making them feel welcome. Um, Additional things we do is we can fill in other places if someone has to step away or is busy with, a patron. We do fill a lot of roles. We're kind of a chameleon with that. Like Alice was saying, we tell them what we have, whether it's the baths, certain rooms, the bar, anything that we're offering that night. Just kind of make them aware, sort of what's there because it's not always the same. Um, and really kind of answer a lot of the odd questions that we can get. I think one of the most common ones that we get is this that kind of bathhouse? Because that comes up more often than you'd think. And yes, it is absolutely that kind of bathhouse. So once they learn that, the requests get far more colorful. So it's never really boring day to day with us.
Yeah, and greeting is a very important job too, especially in the venue scene, so people know what to expect inside of a venue. And it's also really good that you mentioned when you don't greet people that have been coming for a while that they already know, and makes things a little bit easier on them and yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And our bathhouse specifically is a lot more RP heavy. Um, and it helps kind of build on not only our stories but theirs also.
Have, have either of you worked this position in other venues as well, between different places? And are there any differences between, you know, places you've worked before?
Pretty sure I answered that with my own, but yeah.
Yeah.
uh, um, I've worked in nightclubs, heavy role play, um, cafes, all lounges, all sorts of different settings. So yeah, it does change. Uh, but like you just gotta adapt to it, and I think it's really interesting to see how people want you to greet. Um, yeah.
Yeah, so I have done a few fill-ins and last minute needs. I did do a couple of greeting sessions at Club Fane's Kiss, which was really cool. That was a Fae themed venue. But the other one that I do routinely, just that I do with rumors, is Xanarkin, and they're an underwater themed kind of nightclub. But the biggest difference I think is that it's largely not super RP heavy like the rumors bathhouse specifically is. So there are some differences with that. I think the similarities though is just kind of the basics, like when someone comes in, the dotes, the welcomes, guiding them where they need to go if they need it. Current DJ, Discord links, the whole nine. But I guess what changes about it based on the venue um, is just kind of the vibe of it and being able to change your character's interaction with people to fit the vibe of the venue is also something that I think is kind of an unsung talent, that it's not a one size fits all when you greet at a venue.
Yeah, I agree with that, since like all of the venues are a bit different. Well, yeah, some of them hugely different. So there would be that complexity of the uniqueness to some things.
Yeah, for sure.
Guess that'd be a great way to go into the next question too, Aurora, if you want to throw that one out there.
Sounds good. For our next question, basically, in your current employment, do you use macro or copy and paste for greetings? And when following that question, when does going out to venues, do you prefer, do you prefer, this question is a bit worded, but do you prefer doing one or the other, or either or is just fine? I'm still running off of like 2 hours of sleep. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
The coffee.
The coffee. Actually, you know what? Let me get to my mini fridge, but you can answer.
Do you want to go first this time?
Sure, yeah, no worries. I like a little bit of both. And I use both. I do keep the structured greeting on hand, especially when the venue gets really busy. And you don't have as much time to sit and kind of type something out when you're having a lot of people pouring in. So sometimes you really just need the speed, right? But whenever I can, adding that personal touch makes a big difference, even if it's just tweaking the base, structured greeting just by a few words. I think most venues that I've ever greeted for do, including Rumors, do have a bare bones greeting, if you will, to get out the basics that we talked about. But I think that just the rest of it is kind of a full creative freedom, and it is a lot of fun having a good co-greeter like Jensen specifically at Rumors. We bounce off of each other, ping off of each other, pick up, when someone's busy with a patron. It's really easy. Um, But as far as macros or copy and paste, honestly, either's fine as long as it's welcoming. I mean, it really doesn't matter how it's done, in my opinion.
Yeah, I hear a lot of different opinions on it as well. Like usually people would complain about 3 or 4 back-to-back messages from a macro since the thing is limited. And then not everyone uses a copy paste from a Discord from the staff resources.
Yeah.
But there's also been, people that would come out to venues with the busy sip sign or whatever just to avoid greetings. Do you encounter that a lot out there, or is that just more isolated?
I don't think I've ever seen that
I
um,
do.
at Rumors. I have seen it at other venues, but I've never encountered it as me being the greeter to someone else.
It's usually not something that you see at heavy roleplay venues because people are a lot more respectful and more aware of like their actions mean something to others. They say a lot more. I don't see the busy simple so much anymore. I just see people putting on sprint
Oh
and
my
it's
god.
just racing to the stairs before I can click on them. Which you
I
know what? If you don't like it, then that's fine.
I've seen that happen a few times at Florida and even just other places that I've done greeting myself or was a guest there, and I'm like, do people avoid greeters that much when it comes to tells?
Yeah,
It was a bit of a
Yeah.
culture shock to me when I saw that the first time for my first non-Floret greeter job.
It's definitely like a hit or miss because then you have like people that I know that are like, if there's no greeter, then like, what is this? Like, they'll get upset. There's no greeter, and then there's other people that are like, I don't want to be greeted. I just want to go in. And
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
the only people I won't greet more than once is the people that like have connection problems.
Oh yeah, could you imagine disconnecting and you go into a venue and they just keep forgetting who you are and you just get wall of text after wall of text?
Yeah, people get mad actually. Like I've had people send me tells being like, I just disconnected because I accidentally sent them one, but usually I'm pretty good with remembering faces.
Oh my gosh.
That's actually so funny to think about though.
Definitely had it happen. It doesn't make me upset. It's more so what the fuck my chat bar because I have um assistants. So
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, is there any thoughts you have on improvements that could be made to the greeter position in staff for venues?
Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
Okay. Um, so the improvements I actually was able to cover with the owner of Blood Moon, and they are just so nice. um, Greeting can be a super lonely job, and I've never had a co-greeter before, ever in my existence of it must be something that is rumors. Um, I have seen other people be like beside you, but they're usually like the front desk person, so they're never like co-greeting with you. So if you're just at a venue and you're by yourself upstairs all the time, you just kind of have that like you feel kind of segregated from everybody else, because everybody else will be having fun downstairs and you'll just kind of sit there and just kind of be a little bit sad. So I mentioned that, can I greet from downstairs? And she was like, yeah, sure. So she set me up with my own table. And I think that is kind of like the one thing that I wish more places did allow greeters to greet from downstairs. I know it can't always happen, but like in like a nightclub, maybe more so than an RP place where you need to have the information upon entering. Um, at least in a nightclub, you can come down the stairs, get the link to the DJ and the Discord and whatever else you need to get started. Um, because yeah, that that's basically the only thing I can think of, really.
100%. I feel like you read my diary. I have taken a couple of jobs that have offered to come back, and that has been the one thing that has stopped me from actually continuing to fill a role is feeling separated. That has been something that I've never had to deal with the Rumors venues, but also with Xanarkand. I know that the manager there, when you come in, it's pretty clear where you go, right? It's just a straight shot and you go down the stairs. But when the venue first opened, um, the thought was to stay upstairs and greet traditionally, yeah. But when you come down the stairs, there's this long path. The dance floor's right there. So I said, hey, can I pitch an idea to you? Can I stand like on the edge, on the very end of that path? I've got time to see people coming in, but I'm also like kind of close to what's going on and all of that. And the same way that the Blood Moon owner had done for you, she just said 100%, absolutely. And I think that that's a big deal for me personally. I play the game for the connection with people, and greeting allows me to do that. But keeping the greeter separate from those people they play with or play for in the first place it can be really isolating and not much fun to spend hours at a venue to not interact with people outside of a macro that maybe half of them read. So allowing a greeter to be in a physical position even too while being the greeter kind of lets them interact, be the face of the venue, but play into the social strengths of that greeter, and it can make a big difference. I think it can keep that greeter there longer. I think it'll allow the greeter to shift around. For example, at Xanarkand, sometimes if no one's coming in, you can kind of morph into a hype staff or walk around and talk with people and just really add to the venue. But being separated takes all of that away. So I 100% agree. That's probably the biggest thing that could probably improve.
There's there is some changes happening to greeting, especially for like main floor builds. The Some of the venues that I work for, they let you just be wherever you want in the room. You could be on someone's lap, and as long as you're greeting, it's okay. Like you can dance on the bar that's like across the room and stuff. They don't need you to be right in front of the door. I stand near the door because I just don't want to pick through the crowds of who's entering, but the option is very nice.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I have seen starting to emerge, but the large requirement still that I have found has been yes, you have to stay upstairs.
Mhm.
I actually agree with that whole make sure the greeters are with everybody else. Because I did the same thing during my time running venues. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it was either me greeting people and working the bar, or it was my bartender greeting and bartending. other than like one little stint where we did have like a dedicated greeter, but even then they were like right there, uh, on the same floor with everybody able to do, you know, engage with stuff. I definitely think more venues should do this instead of separating with like an upstairs downstairs or a downstairs upstairs, whatever. So that way,
Yeah, and to kind of piggyback on Alice, where she said that some venues you just can't get around it, and that kind of stinks. There was one venue where I noticed that was kind of the case, but one of the options was put me halfway in between up and down, so I can still see the door, but I can still see the dance floor. Um, so you know, 'cause I know sometimes you just can't get around it, I suppose.
hopefully, whenever they add the more housing slots in 7.3, we'll actually be able to get more space to build desk reading and stuff like that within the actual main floors. That would be something
Yeah,
nice.
Hmm.
yeah.
You want to head up our. Oh, wait, no, I think it. No. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
No, it'll
Aurora.
work out. Yeah. You know, it'll work out. I was looking at the list and I'm like, no, there's still one more. Um, for our next question, do you guys have any advice you'll give to newer people who are getting to the venue scene that might consider being a greeter for venues? What would you say to them in case of just general fun of the overall role or maybe difficulties that they may face?
Yeah, so I think kind of just being approachable, being adaptable to whatever environment that you're in. One of the things that we see a lot in our bathhouse is that a lot of our regulars will kind of come to AFK just for the ambiance of it, to just sit and read what's being typed, listen to music, anything like that. And so if someone comes in and doesn't really want to interact, maybe kind of not taking it personally if someone brushes you off for anything, really, whether it be to do that AFK or maybe somebody's shy, they're just getting into RP, just kind of focused on getting into the venue and actually looking around first to determine if they want to stay and engage. There's lots of reasons why. So it's just kind of about learning on how to read the guest and just having the experience, I think, over time to just understand what players will typically do based on what they're looking for. But then be able to approach somebody in a way that also doesn't feel incredibly invasive either, with like a lot of spam emotes or macros or things like that. Just feeling kind of genuine in your interaction will go a lot farther than anything else from my experience.
Yeah, there are a lot of wallflowers out there.
And I'm one of them. So I guess I I'll be honest. If anybody ever asked me like what if grading is like a thing, if they're interested in grading, I would say that it's a really good job for those who are trying to get into the community, but they want to take baby steps. I know that becoming a dancer or a courtesan or anything like that can be kind of overwhelming, and I've run into so many people that are just so nervous. But greeting is sort of like that little step into the venue life without it being just like this jump into the deep end sort of thing. Um, also find it kind of just mostly relaxing. I really enjoy it obviously, and I think it's because like when I'm done with all my school stuff, all I want to do is kind of just be by myself. And this kind of gives me sort of like a way to be by myself without being like totally on my own. So I would say that it's good for those introverts that are trying to make friends a bit more. It's good for people who really like fashion because you're the first person that they see. So whatever fashion you're wearing or whatever clothes you're wearing, that is going to be the staple of what they expect along the way when they run into the venue. So if you really like showing off outfits, you're kind of like the mannequin in the storefront. But yeah, I think it's the most chill job besides security.
Oh yeah, I don't think security is that chill of a job.
When something happens, it definitely is not. But other than that, it's pretty decent.
Audio Shock says, I agree that greeting is like a baby step into the venue scene since it was their first job.
Yeah, I think it was my first job too. I
Yeah,
can't remember. It was years ago.
it definitely was for me.
Nice.
Certainly a good way to get into it.
Hmm.
Mhm.
All right, and before we start jumping into the controversial things and with the issues we had on the last stream, I'm going to go ahead and manually run an ad for 60 seconds. All right, I know it's a long time, but I'd rather do this than it pop off a 3-minute ad for no reason out of nowhere. So we're gonna run
That
a
is so.
yeah. Last time it was a trip, so we're gonna go ahead and run a 60-second, and then we're gonna get into some controversial topics. All right. That's the only thing I really hate about Twitch is having to do the ad break things.
I just hate that they kind of made it mandatory to where you have to have some, and even then, that some is not some, is actually quite a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. That's why I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and just do a minute ad break. So there's not like a 3-minute ad break that pops up like randomly for no reason. So at least give us a bit more time. The thing. All right, welcome back from the ad, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't think anybody actually enjoys ads though, but we're back at it again, and now we're going to jump into some controversial topics. Ooh, spicy.
Oh my God.
Let's spice things up a little bit, you know?
I had a feeling that something like that would happen. I didn't know how to feel about it until after it was said.
Surprise!
Surprise!
All right, so for our greeters here, what is the craziest experience that you have ever had while greeting?
You go ahead.
So I don't have a ton of experience, right? But some of the guests that we get at the bathhouse can be really creative, right? With it being a lot of RP heavy stuff. But there was a guest who came in and was, RPing that he was completely covered in mud because he just fought a bear, apparently, and thought that our bathhouse was going to be the best place to clean the mud up off of him. And that's the reason that we have a tub outside of our bathhouse now. And we had to kind of convince him to go outside and at least, hose off first. And then he would come back in and like get in the actual tubs. And he had offered to pay for, if he could come inside and use one of our tubs. He had offered to replace all of the plumbing, and it was a whole ordeal. Um, but he eventually settled and went outside. And then I think another time someone mistook me for a decorative statue and they left a tip in my hand and then just walked off, which I kept, of course. But it was interesting. And there's been a lot of other stories, but just things related to their characters and imagination is the limit, I suppose.
Um, crazy. I don't think I have anything that's like insane or anything that's like show stopping, but um, something that happens quite a lot to me is peop m people will try to pick up my character, like book them. So they'll like stop and they'll take in the greet message and then they'll just stare at me for like 10 minutes and I'm like hi, and then they say some comment or something like that and I have to politely decline to them all the time, um because the one thing about greeting is that you can't get booked because that would suck if if the greeter got booked, then you would have nobody. Um so yeah, I think that just like having that unwanted attention, especially when you have your like safe for work symbol above your head and everything, is just like something you just kind of have to get used to. I have no idea what it's like at other places, or maybe it's just because of like the fact that uh, my character wears less clothing depending on where they work. So I think that maybe people just take that as a sign as, oh, well, can you come downstairs with me and get a drink with me? And then I have to say, nah, nah, fam.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm just the eye candy at the door, alright?
Yeah, exactly.
So nothing too crazy, alright?
No, never.
I don't know. I think one of the craziest things I've ever heard happen was somebody gave birth in a venue.
Oh, I heard that story too, and it was traumatizing for everyone
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah, yeah. That's a fucking trauma.
Something about a hedgehog. Ugh.
What?
What?
I have
I
no
definitely
idea.
have been living under a rock. Holy, because all I could think of is the fire incident that I talked about in the first episode. I wasn't there that day, but it was interesting. That's why we have no candles in Florida anymore.
What?
The
Oh my
books are in
god.
danger.
Oh my
Yes,
god.
someone basically RP lit themselves on fire by their dress touching one of the candles. It was a whole thing.
Wow.
And that is part of the fun in venues. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a recreation of Forrest Gump, but in a venue.
Well, with that, while we move on from the crazy experiences, which some may be fun or not so fun, what is the least favorite part of being a greeter when working at venues, in your honest opinions?
Yeah, don't
You
hold
go.
back.
You go
Go
first. You
wild
go
with it.
first.
Oh my god. Well, I'm probably not the best person to go wild or not hold back. Like I said, I've only got a few months of experience, right? All the venues have been pretty great. I think just kind of circling back, right, on the being isolated, that's not great. If you just don't have that option. I would say honestly, the piggybacking on Alice about being asked for extra services, when your character is clearly not that person. And a lot of venues that I greet with offer that. So a lot of people will come in and they'll say that, and most of the time people just they say okay, like that's fine. You don't offer that, whatever. But there is the occasional person that just won't lay off. Um, and it gets kind of exhausting to have to explain 10 different ways to Sunday that you're not for sale as a greeter. But I really largely don't have a lot of complaints when it comes to to greeting, but I'm sure with experience there will come other situations, but as of right now, that's that's probably the whole of it.
Alright, and
Oh,
I hate to really detract from that serious thing, but I'm not the only one that noticed the gaggle of ducks everywhere, right?
Yeah,
Nope.
there's lots of ducks.
Wait, there's ducks around now? Oh my god, there's ducks.
Yeah, they've been here.
Yeah,
They
I
they're
zoomed
giving
out and they
people
were just
ducks that
gathered.
don't have ducks. They're like, "You don't have a duck? We have to change that." And now there's like a horde of them in the middle of the dance.
Yeah, there's
Oh
just
That's
my
amazing.
god!
there's a mafia of ducks right there in the middle of the floor.
And then some people turned into ah! Oh, I love it. I love it.
Do I need to put up my duck?
Oh my
It's
god,
time to
I
become
need a
one with
duck.
duck.
It's like there's two different gangs of ducks here, and they're getting ready to fight or something on the dance floor. It's gonna be like a
Turf
Oh my
battle.
god, there's a duck war.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
JK,
They're
I
gonna
actually
quack
have a
each other.
duck. What?
gonna be like a Michael Jackson music video, but with ducks.
There we
you
go.
Duck.
I didn't even know I had one.
They look like gooses to me, but
A gaggle of geese.
yeah.
Yeah.
God,
My
Chad even knows
goodness.
what's up.
my entire thought process just got derailed now by ducks. Now I can't stop thinking about Affleck.
Oh
I know, I
god.
was just about to say that. I'm just like, Affleck.
Oh, the Mighty Ducks. Oh man, that takes me way back. Yeah, yeah. If you love the ducks in the venue, we're over at Lion's Lair on Crystal. They have ducks. They're completely overtaken by ducks. All right, it's gonna be the duck lair before it's over with.
My God.
I'm okay with that.
Who's the mightiest duck of all in this battle? May we never know.
It's,
So apparently
it's
the DJ
probably
right now
it's probably this
loves
duck.
ducks.
Yeah, it's probably this duck right here, standing on the ledge, guiding the other ducks below it. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked by the ducks again. Damn it.
Was that all you need to say, Irene?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's all the
Okay.
complaining I got.
All right.
um. Okay. Well, I don't think that the job itself is a problem. I like it. I don't see very many problems with it other than what we talked about before. Um, I think the least favorite part of the position is uh the I guess the Sims style uh, existence of guests that come in because um doesn't matter what size of house we're in, they'll think it's a large no matter where they are, and I will be standing no matter where I am. I could be pointing down the stairs and they'd still walk to the back to try to go down a large steps. And I don't know if anybody else has that problem where like everyone just as soon as they come in, they just think it's a large. But that is, I have like a special macro in, like I could say it as many times as I want. I do say it in my macros. I always say like just head down the stairs to your right or to your left or whatever. And they still walk past me and go towards the private chambers and get confused. And I don't know what to do. I've had to literally walk people down the stairs just to get them to. It's like it is like working with Sims, like telling them where to go.
No, checks out.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense, honestly.
I mean, it's gonna get worse when everyone can change their layouts to larges, even though they're in a small. But like, I think just like having a smaller lobby would be really helpful, especially if you're in a nightclub where everything like action wise goes on downstairs. There's no reason to have so much space. You're just confusing the general public.
Oh, I didn't even know they added that in yet, where you can change the inside of the house yet.
No, they haven't yet,
Not
but they're
yet.
going
Oh,
to. Yeah.
Yeah, I think closer to the end of Dontro, unfortunately.
Also, we've got some questions from the chatters too. It's like, do
Oh,
you think they need more ducks? Answer is always yes. Need more
yeah.
ducks.
Of course.
Is that even a question?
That was a question and it needed to be addressed because yes, we do need more ducks.
I
We also
think.
have another question in the Twitch chat from Mobile Suit You. I know who this is, but I'm not gonna say their name. But going on the RP tag comment, why aren't all DCs the same with tags? That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, that is actually a really good question because
I
between Primal and Ether, it's like yellow is NSFW and green is safe for work, and then on
I
Crystal,
have
And
it's
then you
the
have
opposite.
Crystal the
yeah.
opposite.
Is
There.
that something that the Final Fantasy venues Discord could attempt to try to streamline with all the DCs?
No, it has been
No.
attempted, and
Has it?
yeah, it
Okay.
has been attempted.
You can only do
Here's a
so much with
really good
1300
Yeah.
venues.
um
Yeah.
here's a really good way of of knowing if you're, especially if you're starting a venue. And actually we've had in Blood Moon, we had a poll on what we should put our tags as. And from my experience, yellow means slow down and green means go. So yellow is safe for work, which means slow down. Don't think that you can do that. And green means yeah, go for it.
Oh, I've always seen it as like yellow is the meld sign, and melding that kind of yeah, that just makes sense to me. And then looking
We're
for
melding
party
together,
is just
gang.
like looking to hang out.
I have seen venues sort of start this more often just in the few months that I've been doing it. I've been noticing changes on their discords and on their cards too, where they're adding it specifically indicating what theirs mean. So even if the data center says this is what it is generally, our venue means this is what it is. And
Yeah,
some
I see
have
that too.
started, yeah, some have even started implementing, which I think is a pretty good idea. If the patrons wear a particular tag, it will attract a staff member to come up and speak with them, which can be helpful if you're a player who doesn't really know how to start a conversation, but a staff member could. It just kind of signals that you're open to whatever type of conversation could be started or whatever services are offered there too.
Yeah, I work at Pandora on Dynamis, and they have that system where um, if you're wearing a yellow tag, then you're a courtesan or staff. If you're wearing an RP tag, you could be staff, but you're in character. So it kind of confusing in that sense. But and then you have the green tag, which is for guests. And if you are wearing green tag, that means that you've come with um, the uh, you want to book somebody basically.
We need more tags, all right.
Yes.
But usually, from what I knew, even like years ago, people were putting the what the tags mean on their cards and websites. I remember I had it on mine that yellow was courtesan and then green was safe for work or bartenders and stuff like that. And that goes back like 4 years, but I don't think they do it as often now. Usually they just have a staff page and then it tells you what staff member does what.
I think it depends because like I know that most role play venues, they do follow the yellow is safe for work and green is not safe for work. um, because a lot of role play venues that are still around today originated in Crystal, and maybe they've moved to Dynamis, or people have opened their own venues, piggybacking the ideas and stuff across data centers. But I will say, out of all the venues that I work, only one venue has the opposite, where you have to wear your green tag instead of a yellow tag. I think what it really comes down to is the fact that um, correct me if I'm wrong. I could be completely wrong with this, but if you have a green tag, you can't go into a party without it falling off all the time. Some people have found ways around it. I have no idea how they did it, but that's kind of the general consensus. And that means that you can't get into a party with the person that you're, talking to, and do things that you should be doing in a private room on the floor. um and but as a safe for work, that's like for the security who could be in a party, or for the management who could be in a party or something like that. So safe for work allows you to be in parties while wearing the yellow tag.
Well, testing that now in the party, that is appearing to be the case. Green is no longer an option while in a party.
Mobile also says that there should be like some standardization and stuff, which I agree. Like maybe one day all of the venues will come together and make a decision on like one thing meaning one thing, and just no more confusion.
Yeah. I do find it interesting when I don't really go on crystal venues anymore. But like when I do go over there for role play venues, there's a lot more of a mandatory, like a unspoken sort of thought that everyone has that you should be wearing your RP tag when you're in character. But like on places like Dynamis, which is a lot more of like a point where like a lot of different data centers have come to mingle all
A
together.
melting
So
pot?
yeah, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So uh, it's a little bit of a hit and miss, about whether you're in character or not, which can get really confusing really fast.
I'm always confused. Also, if there's any more questions that the viewers want to ask, we are still taking questions and stuff for the greeters. And I keep getting distracted by these ducks, okay?
I'm distracted by the ducks. Oh my god, tired voice. But also because I keep going back into Twitch and it just keeps on saying, "Welcome to the chat room. Welcome to the chat room," because I keep disconnecting from Twitch. This is insane.
Oh, you're just not having a fun time with that, are you?
I haven't been having a fun time for a whole week now. It just got worse like yesterday to where I had like an entire 2 hours of just no internet from trying to fix it, connected to my hotspot, connected to the visitor Wi-Fi, connected to the student Wi-Fi using a VPN.
It's just never ending.
Never ending.
Hopefully they'll get it fixed though, so you can not have to worry about all the now DC scrap.
I know I want to raid. That's my main
Oh
concern. I
my
want to raid.
God.
I just want to do content.
I just want to do content.
Oh, speaking of content, for all you listening, the Mog event's still going on. If you want to go get some Mog tomes, yeah. Oh, Mobile coming in with another question too. As a greeter, what do others do when someone makes a complaint about the venue?
Mm.
Ooh, and Watermelon asking hard questions out here too.
You can go ahead.
I haven't really had much experience with complaints being lodged at venues yet. Sure, there's a time for everything, but I don't really have anything to draw off of from that one.
Um, Anything that is really like more difficult to answer, um, at least like at Blood Moon, Nanami is like right there. As soon as I have a question or something that needs to happen, she's like racing across the floor to go help the person. So nothing as far as like complaints, I actually have to cover unless it has to do with like joining things, and then I have to be like, I have no idea how to help you. If that's a personal issue and I can't fix it. Um, yeah.
And then our next question, which honestly I think is dependent on the venue, but nonetheless, Watermelon Astrid asks, don't know if this is a controversial question, but what is your opinions of lolophiles and venues?
All right. Well,
Of course,
I'm
this
gonna go
will
ahead
be
and
reading or huh?
start on that since I ran a venue and stuff, but we were very Lala friendly. All right. We even had the Dark Clouds come in and play like almost every open. And if you know Ren, like her entire band is Lalafels. So we had no issues with Lalafels being in the venue, but you cannot offer certain services to Lalafels.
Yeah, so that is a sticky question, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
My opinion as a person, as the player, um, I don't really care too much about what race the character plays, right? But again, I think with Iris saying, or Aurora, excuse me, saying that it's venue driven, I think that that is really true. I know that Lalafell's design in the game does look childlike, even though they are painted to be adults. So, depending on the venue, it can get a tiny bit hairy based on what's offered at the venue. So, for some venues that I've worked at, including our bathhouse, there are areas that services are offered that it's not a great area to have a childlike character be in. So our bathhouse, we typically to just kind of blanket to say that we don't really accept them there. But to counter that and make sure that we meet the needs in whatever way we can to as many people in the community as we can, we offer other venues also. The nightclub, a coffee shop coming up, or even having other partners or affiliates that do have places like ours that are Lala friendly. Um, that's a really that is a really controversial question and a lot of different opinions on for sure.
I just know that you need to be nice to all the races out there. All right, even Lalafell,
Yeah.
even if you want to punt a Lalafell across the battle arena, do it
Don't
respectfully.
actually punt them.
Oh, okay, yeah, do that instead. Don't do that.
At least don't do them if it was not agreed that you could punt each other, I guess. I don't know. At least not in the venue if you just met the person. That poor person.
Yeah, but Lalas are usually some pretty cool people. I've got friends that play Lala just so they can be small with a giant axe and go beat stuff up. Kind of funny.
I do that. But without being a Lala. So it's very fun.
Yeah, yeah, fair
They
enough.
give very confusing eyes.
Oh my gosh.
But the one thing is, you just do not uh do the inappropriate stuff with Lalas. You
Right.
cannot do that.
Hmm.
I guess my opinion is that like um I usually see that Lullafell are allowed at the bar and they're allowed to dance and stuff, but yeah, just like everyone else said that they're just not allowed to have certain services given to them. Um, I run a safe for work venue, myself, so they're perfectly allowed to come and hang out. I even have Lawful working for me, so
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, speaking of
Yeah.
It's
Lalafell,
real.
mm,
speaking of Lalafels though, there's actually a Lala made cafe over on Ether, I think.
I think I've heard of it, or at least I was told about it. I know a few Lala cafes actually, so I'm trying to remember which one.
It's the one that Ren always plays at.
I remember Aruna. I'm under a rock,
Oh
so I
yeah,
don't know
that's
who that is.
oh yeah, that's right. Sorry.
Wasn't there a
uh,
venue that was Lala owned and they made like soup out of them?
okay,
Did y'all see that?
I have not heard of that
Yeah.
one.
I don't really, I know. It's
No.
all over their card and everything. They've got like, they say no Lalas were harmed in the making of this, blah blah. But there's a venue that would have Lalafels come in and turn them into soup. And you could order the soup.
my
And it was
God,
run by Lalas. It was crazy.
That
it must
is
be if
wild.
Cat Girl
That's
Arby's.
Ether even has
Catgirl
the.
Arby's.
Does anybody remember that? That was like way back in the day. I think it was on Crystal, Cat Girl Arby's. I'm pretty sure there was like it was. This was based on rumors, but I heard that there was a dungeon downstairs, and if you followed down there, you would get thrown into the dungeon, like bars, and they would say, "I guess you're going to be made into the next burgers."
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I want to say Barry's Burgers, but I don't think that's right. And then awkward
Well,
silence.
that took a turn.
Well, I mean, I guess it makes sense if we're still technically in controversial or just got done with them.
Cannibalism?
Wit.
Cannibalism? Yes or no?
I I mean, no me, but my character would say otherwise.
My god.
Would not be the first time I saw cannibalism in this game.
Yeah.
I've been lucky to not seen a lot of things actually. Maybe it's a good thing I'm under a rock. I don't know.
Okay, mobile suit over here. Like, I've seen venues limit law laws at the NSFW venues, but what's the point of allowing them in? It's allowing them in because you want to be inclusive, alright? You want to not look like you're a racist, apparently. Or, yeah, more than likely. So you want to
To
let,
just put simply,
yeah, so you just want to let everyone come in, but limit, like, who is allowed to have what. Like, Lawless, don't give them the services, but let them hang out, enjoy, have a good time out.
oh, I think they meant more so like not even just services, but not letting them dance with others because they said limiting as in allowing them in but can't be on the dance floor as an example, which I never heard of that before because if you allow law fills in, you usually let them do everything else other than some services. So that makes no sense to let them in if they can't even enjoy it safer work wise.
Yeah, that's silly.
Yeah, that is definitely silly. They should. Is this actually a real thing? Is this happening somewhere?
Yeah, I'd like to know if this is actually a real thing because that doesn't make sense.
Make it make sense, please.
I mean, okay, since we're on the controversial side of things, I think that some venues I can understand it in a sense because there are some venues out there that have open ERP rules.
Oh,
So
okay,
if you,
yeah.
yeah, I
So
think,
that is
Well,
kind of the controversial piece. And that's especially what it is for rumors of the bathhouse specifically, right? That entire venue is very clear that it's a not safe for work venue, and open nudity is completely allowed and very much taken advantage of. So our guests will come in every area all around the thing. The clothing optional piece is not only limited for just the tubs. And that's part of the reason why for us specifically with that is the way that level of uncomfortableness that could present itself for the majority of the population and our patrons to be engaging in that nudity that they would like to do, while also being around a lalafell that resembles childlike in nature. But
Yeah, I can definitely
you
understand
know,
that.
outside of
Yeah, when put
that,
in that context, then it makes
yeah,
sense.
But then again, if you have a Lalafell that comes in that's using one of the forbidden mods and they're running around naked, that's clearly you can just ban them straight out
Yeah.
right. I
completely.
think we've only ever had one lalafell come into the venue. Security said, "Hey, I'm really sorry, but this is kind of what the rules are for this venue particularly. Feel free to drop by our other venues, but unfortunately, this one is probably not gonna work out." And they were completely receptive to it and had no issue and left. But largely, we have never had an issue with that being challenged, just based on what it is that we offer.
According to Exodus over here, apparently a bunch of places don't allow Lalafells to like do anything in venues, and I'm over here thinking, what is it, like 2021 all over again?
That makes me feel so sad because every time, I guess I do recall, every time a Lalafell comes in, they'll send me a tell being like, "Am I allowed to be here?" And it's just so
I
sad, and I'm always like,
know.
"Yes, yes, you are."
Yeah, that was a really
They
dark
just as
time.
much deserve to be able to enjoy RP or just general venues while also understanding they can't take part in other services. But there's no limit to having fun with people just hanging out. At least I personally think so.
Yeah, and then apparently also Exodus followed up with like recently they've seen more and more venues allowing full NSFW laws, which
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
because
I've
why?
seen that too.
Why?
I hope not. Okay, because we
Yeah.
do not need an SI incident all over again.
Wait, something happened. Oh. Actually, no, I'll ask you later. I'm not gonna ask right now.
Yeah. We don't want to talk about too much things. Just like was like not name dropping, so let's try to avoid any kind of actual drama and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
At the end of
Well,
the
on
day,
his
it's to each
people.
their
Hmm?
own.
To a certain extent, yes.
I just mean like no, the whole saying of you don't pay for my sub is kind of one of those moments when you're just like, if you're home and you're in your private house and you want to do what you want to do, I don't care. Just
Great questions though for the
yeah,
podcast. Like, I don't think there's really any aspect of greeting that we do that hasn't been asked about. So that was good.
yeah. I wish I could watch. Twitch does not is not happy with my computer, so
Oh, it's fine. Like mostly it's just us sitting here talking, people dancing, and then people chatting.
Yeah, majority of the time we just if someone says anything in a Twitch chat, then we just relay it back over here. So you're not missing out on much on not watching.
Yeah. Plus we save the video, so like you can watch anytime.
Hmm.
But Exodus, I don't really know what to think of that. When there's like 20 plus venues in the past 2 months that you've seen like that, that's
My thing is, how do you find them?
yeah, because
Oh,
Literally.
that's a loaded question, wouldn't it be?
Like, how do these places advertise to where people actually go to them and think it's okay?
yeah, and I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be listed on the venue's website since they have a very strict policy about that.
I'm not sure. I do know of one place, and I think they are on the venues, but I could be wrong.
Well, I hope that you're wrong, because if Kana sees this and it's like there's a venue listed on the site that's breaking the rules,
Mayhem.
yeah, man.
Mayhem.
Yeah.
Well, audience people, do we have any more questions before we wrap up for this week's episode? Because we pretty much covered majority of what we could ask about the role.
That is rather. Yeah, I don't know how to respond to that other than like if this is legit happening, I probably I don't know.
Are there like some
I don't
code
know if I
words or
would want to
something
know
that
or do I.
yeah, like
I think for
goodness.
me, I think would I rather want to know so I could actually keep an eye on something to make sure that eventually it'll just like completely go away and fix itself, or do I not want to know just out of ignorant bliss because I'm like that's uncomfortable to think of. It's a hard
I
it's a
think
hard thing.
ignorant bliss. I'd say ignorant bliss.
Yeah, because I've not seen it, and I usually go out to a lot of venues on occasions, whether it's for DJing or just exploring or even like this
I
for the
would
podcast.
want to know so I could avoid it specifically. Because the last thing I want to do is show up in a place where I didn't know it was that place and you're already seen. I think I would just like to know. Steer clear.
That is fair.
Yeah, the best I could say is like if Exodus, if you are really seeing this out there, I would recommend like, especially if it's listed on the site, to do one of the support tickets in the venue's Discord and let them know, because there is a very strict policy on no looting laws for registered
Or like if
venues.
you see it on Party Finder, then probably can report them probably.
Uh,
Don't know which option probably,
yeah,
but
I don't know how to
it's a
deal with a party
thing.
finder. Yeah.
Oh, uh, okay.
Yeah, so hopefully that's not like a real thing, because otherwise Famous is going to come back and then it's just going to be a nightmare for all the venues out there.
Yeah.
But
Well, let's
anyway,
hope that this doesn't end the whole podcast.
no, I doubt it. Really not. We're only at the greeters. All right, next week we got the bartenders. That's going to be quite exciting. I'm sure we'll probably get some drinks mixed on stream. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh,
That'd be fun if we go to an open bar and they let some like do some drinks. That would be fun, I think.
oh, that would be fun.
Oh yeah, that
Do
would.
you have your bartenders booked?
We've got a couple of them that are interested. Yes,
That's awesome.
but of course, I'm gonna have to go through all the people that have asked about it. Make sure they're okay with being on the podcast and VC and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Am
It
I
is
allowed to
time to
ask you?
lovingly kidnap.
Oh, sorry.
Lovingly kidnap people with heated blankets and cookies.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we do not endorse kidnapping. Okay.
Or lewd lalas.
Am I allowed to ask a question to you guys?
Of course.
I wanted to know, like, because I just learned about this podcast. Why did you guys start it, and like, how has it been going so far?
That's
Ooh,
definitely a Runa question. I'm just here.
yeah, that's definitely a good question. So, I originally started the podcast because I was a venue owner for like over half a decade, and then retired. Decided to go into being a DJ. But then after a little bit, I started missing the venue scene and stuff like that. Actually, being involved with venues and everything. Then I decided, I was gonna like host a little podcast, get some venue owners together, see, talk about things. And it kind of just took off, and it's like we're gonna cover everything within the venue scene. save all the videos so people can see all the different perspectives anytime they want to. Okay, so. But yeah, then Kana enjoyed it and she decided she wanted to help out with it and stuff like that. Then, of course, I had these amazing hosts with me. I got the Aurora and Plush giving their time to help out with this project as well, which is really nice.
That's awesome.
And apparently we're going to do an ad break because Twitch is telling me that it's about to roll an ad and I don't want to cut the thing. So we're going to do a minute advertisement and then we're going to wrap things up.
Don't we love Twitch and her ads just for a few coins?
Yeah. Alright, the ad's rolling. I don't even know why they make us do the ads too. 'Cause, like, the revenue is like, I'm talking pennies, okay? It's like walking down the street and you just find a penny on the ground. That's the equivalent of what it's like. Exclusive footage. And not that exciting for exclusive footage, but it's there, yeah. Alright, welcome back everybody. Sorry about the little advertisement break. Alright, so do we have any final questions before we start, like, wrapping things up? Or does anyone have any questions for me or the host or anything? The silence is deafening.
Are you asking me or the audience?
Oh, I'm asking everybody. Like,
Oh, okay.
Oh.
this is an AOE.
What do you miss most about running venues?
Oh, what do I? Oh man, I miss
Only have the hard questions.
yeah, I miss the community engagement. All right, I used to love you like talking to every single person that came into the venue. Hanging out, knew everybody that came in regularly. Just nice hearing about their weeks and everything.
That's really sweet.
What was the thing you missed the least about it?
The thing that's easy.
Hitting you the hard questions.
Yeah, apparently. The thing that I miss the least is the constant every single day work of it. All right, having to go out to do stuff to make gil, make sure coffers are set and everything like that, give away items. I had to buy a lot of Fat Cat minions since he was our mascot, the Mr. Floofers.
Oh, Floofer. That's the name of our security. The murder floof.
The
He's a
Murph,
big,
yup.
big rock star.
Oh man.
That's awesome.
Oh, and the complaints. Do not miss the complaints. All right, because we had a Doe's entry door. People were like, how do I get in? Why would you have this? I don't like it. I gotta doze and then walk. Oh no. Why can't I jump in an elevator?
Push button. A working elevator button.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
that would be nice. Oh, Exodus over here asking some questions that a lot of people wouldn't know the answer to. What has changed from the venue scene back in the day to now?
I
They have
know
their
the answer.
Yeah, a lot has changed. All right,
Yeah.
because if you've been around a while, you would remember Kimura and the PBR Empire,
Mm,
or other such places in different DCs before we had the DC or even World Travel and stuff like that.
Vibe Tribe.
Oh yeah. But back in the day, we didn't have cards, we didn't have DJs and stuff like that until Kimura came around and introduced DJs to the venue scene, and then also websites and cards. Otherwise, it was just basically greeters and in-house interactions and stuff. And this was even before there was the venue's website that documents all the venues and stuff. Everybody was just pretty much separated unless you were part of like one of the syndicates.
We're getting doted.
The dotes are flying.
Yeah, I remember all of that. I remember when it was like not even like there was so little amount of venues, so so those venues got big real fast. And nowadays there's like I don't even know how many on the venue Discord, but I think there's like over 1,000.
There are currently 1,300 venues.
Yeah, that's so many. Everybody wants to open a venue, and um, I just I always say now, like, if you want to open a venue, just make sure you got your ducks in a row, literally.
Yeah, back in the day, opening a
Yep.
venue wasn't even about making money and stuff. It was all about like communities and everything. And then eventually, at one point, people were like, you know what, we could try to make Gil out of doing this. Let's open a venue. And then they would just do it for the money. And then they would end up, shutting down after a couple of months because that's not how it works.
Yeah,
We're really fortunate with that. With Rumors, we were built on a core friend group, and most most all of our staff. I mean, we have wages, right? But we very rarely take it. That's kind of the running complaint of our owners on us is that we don't take pay. And she always jokes, "I can't fire you if you don't take payment," But we don't.
Yep.
That's one of the best things is to just be able to play an RP and just do stuff because it's fun to do it. And it actually has been really surprising how many venues are driven to be profitable and the way that they seem almost confused at that way of thinking is that you have to be doing this for something, right? You can't just be doing it just to have fun, surely. Like you got to be getting something out of it, right? And it actually is kind of wild to see that that's the response more often than I had anticipated it. But kind of on your standpoint about opening a venue now, just even if you're not doing it with Gil or anything like that, just simply planning events or planning with other venues or anything like that, it's way different staffing a venue than it is managing or owning one. And
You,
I never really realized that until stepping into those. And then it is absolutely um, more of a ceiling cap on that for sure.
yeah, and then ironically, these venues open up strictly just to make money and everything is the reason why we had inflation on prices for, staffing and stuff like that. That's why the prices are so high now compared to what they were like 3, 4 years ago.
I could
yeah.
see that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Now I'm
Apparently, you're in
in
trouble.
trouble with my boss.
What?
I literally spoke about that yesterday with somebody. They were mentioning how they were thinking about opening a venue, but they had no money. And I said, well, when I opened my venue, I didn't have any skill really, and I didn't pay my employees. It was all based on volunteer because I was only open once a month, and it was only like pop-ups and small things, just a small place. Um, and I still had people applying, completely aware that they weren't going to get a wage. It was just there for the role play. And I said, like, people will work because they want to meet people and connect with people and have that sense of community. It's not always about the gill. And half of my staff still don't take a wage, even though I offer it. Well, now that I have gill.
I was the same way when I started mine out like a long time ago. It was just me and my friend in an apartment running a brothel and a lounge. It was a lounge brothel. It was good times though. You know, it started out
Mhm.
from like just little apartment venue, nothing too fancy. And then like within I think 2 years, like a year and a half. Wait, yeah, within a year and a half, it became like one of the biggest venues on Ether.
Damn. Now you can't even get to ether half the time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Ether.
Ew, my pockets. Because the way I scram to get Gil to buy a medium on Dynamis just so I could open up my venue because I'm ether based is insane. And then decorated it within 2 hours before venue opened. Irene was there. I was stressing.
She was. And stubborn as a mule, wouldn't take any help.
I
I can
really did not.
craft it. I can craft it. No, I got it. She lost hair
My
over it, I'm
God.
sure.
My hair went gray in that moment. I like got 50 years on my life.
Well, that's one way to age.
Yo, that's one way to age. I somehow worked it out though. Don't know how.
That's
I guess
awesome.
it was a miracle in the making. I don't know how I did it because I really was stressing.
Yeah, well, that's house designing for you. Is definitely really stressful, and it'll also be one of our episodes later down the line. Yay!
Woo. Yeah.
Woo!
It's a good thing.
I'm
Plus, she
so
isn't
excited
here.
for
She would.
April ones.
Yeah. Plus, she was here, and I mentioned housing. She would flip. Be like, housing, yes.
Me and Plushy will easily make one question into 5 hours. You must be prepared for April. We will go feral.
Yes, April is gonna be a tough time. All right, there's gonna be so much stuff. But anyway, if there's not any more questions and stuff that the community would like answered, we could probably wrap it up here and let people get back to their Saturday evening.
Yeah, I have one. Just asking for a friend. How do you keep your boss from murdering you?
Easy, you don't. Good
Uh,
luck.
you put on sprint,
Especially since I know your boss. Good luck. I'm not helping you this time.
data center travel quickly.
Ooh,
Log out, delete.
that is a good question, Brogan. I'd say that's probably better for a housing question, but at the same time, the way you worded it does make sense in this context. But
Mm.
what size do the greeters think works best for a house?
I,
Mm.
I love mediums. Um, Even though like right now it is just because of the amount of items we're allowed to have that makes it limited. But mediums I find are like just um, they're just so much fun to to be able to have it upstairs, and the downstairs is actually like workable because the upstairs in a large is like no it's rare when you see venues actually using upstairs.
I used to use
I
an
definitely can't
upstairs.
agree on that. The medium house is definitely the perfect middle child.
Yeah, I have to agree too because it gives just enough slots to make a decent place, but it's also not like overly big and empty.
Yeah, because a lot of venues will upgrade to a large and they're not ready for it. They don't have the crowd space for it. And so when they upgrade to a large, they're suddenly their crowds look a lot smaller because they have such like so much more space now. If you want to make your venue look busy, make it tighter.
I would say to greet or to work in, I don't really have a preference. I think mine is more about the vibe of the venue. If you're greeting like who the staff is that you're working with, because I mean, it can be the coziest venue ever and still feel just super separated because there's not that, um, you know,
The
interaction
intimacy.
with each other. Yeah. For me, I don't really care too much. It's more, like I said, for me, it's just more about the vibes of the place.
I like that point of view. But if you want a place that's gonna keep the greeter in with everybody else, an apartment, there you go. They're all in the same room.
Oh my God. That is true.
That is controversial just by saying.
Sorry, there's 10 people. We've reached cap. Gotta go outside.
You know, I've actually never seen that where an apartment caps and they got to go outside and stand in front of an apartment building.
In the lobby.
Yeah, in the lobby. Oh my god.
Imagine a dance club in the lobby.
Honestly, that sounds pretty sick. I would not mind going to that party.
Yeah, if any venue
Really nice in
owners are
there.
listening, they're probably got gears turning right now. It's like, ooh.
Apartment party, let's go.
Those poor NPCs.
The irony is that would actually bring more traffic to lobbies, too. Even if there's nothing going on, you know? Lobbies are very underrated. Or, yeah. Overlooked, whatever. Ooh. Okay, so Broken Ask. Speaking of the vibes, what is one of the I don't want to work here vibe as a greeter?
I'm not sure that I understand the question.
Like,
I guess basically, if you're at a venue and they probably ask you to like come greet again, or if they're asking you to greet for the first time at their venue, what are some of the vibes of that venue that causes you to be like, I don't know if I would enjoy being at this place, whether as a guest or working as a greeter?
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, if that's the question, then I guess just kind of looping back to what I think me and um, Alice had sort of already said in the beginning, where it just, feeling separated or segregated from what's happening at the venue. If it's not a place that's able to make those adjustments, it just wouldn't be fun. And the whole reason that you play is for fun.
I've never really had a venue that I haven't wanted to greet at. So uh I guess like if the staff were just super unfriendly or something, I that's never
Yeah,
happened before, but
I
I
could see
think
that.
that like like there are going to be some jobs where you work that you're going to be a little bit more quiet than others. Or they're going to be more busy on the ball kind of jobs. But so like I kind of will balance that. So I'll be like, okay, well, this job here, I'm upstairs and by myself. Um, okay, cool. So I'll go find another job that's another day. So I'll work two jobs. And that way that I can have something more interactive. So that's kind of how I balance it out. But overall, I've never really had like staff just like straight up ignore me. Um, I've had people like, busy in the crossword link shell and they just won't respond to me. But then I go, hello. But that's about it.
yeah, so I think to answer the question, Exodus, it'd probably be more like the separation, stuff like that, or, you know, if staff members are rude and such, but it is a very rare case that that happens.
I would say less rude and more like clicky.
Oh yeah, clicky places, man. Oh god, that's a lot of separation and stuff at the venue.
That's a new can of worms.
Yeah, that's yeah. But I guess we can wrap things up here for the day.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, we'd like to thank everybody for joining us today. It was a great time. Got to hear some great insight from these amazing greeters over at Blood Moon and Rumors Inc. So be sure to go and check them out sometime on the website or Party Finder. I think, yeah, you're on the website.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, this was awesome.
So I'll go ahead and throw up the website too in case anybody needs that. That is a link to the venue's website, so you can find all the venues there. We will be back next week with the bartender episode, going over what it's like to be a bartender. Probably come prepared drinking whiskey or something. I don't know. Get everybody drunk when we come on. Should be a fun time.
Drunk podcast day.
Yeah.
Hey, hey.
But other than that, if you're not already following, be sure to drop a follow if you want to keep up with us, or join the Discord for any of the announcements we make for the podcast, because we will do those every Saturday at 3 p.m. EST. And with that, I hope that everybody has an amazing rest of their weekend and an epic Saturday night.